Hey, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and welcome back to some more Cinderella phenomenon. Last time we left off, we found out that Sir Alcaster was the witch the whole time. A big surprise, right? Never saw that coming. Oh no, not Sir Alcaster. Sir Mithros, I don't know if there's a Sir in front of there or not. Anyways, Mithros was the witch. Again, no surprise there. And we kissed our stepbrother. So that is an interesting development, to say the least. But without further ado, let's jump right on back into it. Today's Viorka's wedding. Fuck. Today's Viorka's wedding day, and also the day Rod is destined to die. Sir Mithros explained his plan briefly last night. Oh yeah, we teamed up with Mithros. I think it was something like, oh yeah, he'll help us out with Rod's situation and help break his curse in exchange for us basically, like, doing what he says, I think. He told me that he would have a valuable item delivered to Rod that he would need to use to break his curse. He further explained that it was something that he would need to use after the wedding. I tried to question him further, but he disappeared before I could, saying that he needed to start his preparations. I do not completely trust him, but I'm running out of time and have no choice right now. The royal family has left the palace to attend Viorka's wedding. It is unusual for the king to attend another noble's wedding, but Viorka has given an exception, given that she is one of Rod's and Emmeline's best friends. Despite Sir Mithros' reassurance, I am still restless. Sir Mithros told me that everything would be alright, that Rod would not instantly die the moment Viorka got married. But why must his involvement be reserved for a time after the wedding? Why does he not act now? Someone looks like they're in a bad mood. Delora suddenly stands before me, smirking. Her appearance shocks me so badly I nearly dropped the dishes in my hands. What impeccable timing. We've heard from the prince about Mithros. No wonder I was iffy about the man. I should have realized he was the witch. Do you know him? Yes, I do. Delora walks closer and places both of her hands on my shoulders. Listen to me, princess. I'm warning you. Stay away from Mithros. Do you understand? That man is a sly devil. He cannot be trusted. I take a deep breath to still my rapidly beating heart. I hope I will not regret asking for his help. Princess? I need you to promise that you will stay away from that man. I need you to promise me that you will stay away from Mithros. Yes, of course. Good. For the time being, I will resume my investigation. If I'm lucky, I'll find out what Mithros hopes to accomplish. Actually, he's not in the palace right now. He went with the royal family to attend a wedding. A wedding, huh? How unusual. I can only assume he must be there at the wedding to help Rod. Well then, better make use of his absence while I can. I'll see you later, princess. When I am left to my own thoughts, my mind returns to the issue of Rod's curse. Sir Mithros mentioned a similarity with the fairy tale, which means I may have a chance of finding out more. I decide to go to the library when I have the time to pick up the book. I'm now on my way back to my quarters with the book in hand when I see Rod walking toward me from the other side. His eyes are fixed on the floor, so he does not notice me as I approach. Rod? He's still alive. Does that mean Sir Mithros has succeeded? Oh, it's just you. Rod's voice still comes from Sebi. The realization instills deep fear inside of me. He's still cursed. How much time does he have left? Much to my surprise, Rod actually smiles at me. The smile is forced, however, and does not reach his eyes. He looks crestfallen. Ooh. See, my theory last video was that I think in the original Little Mermaid story, the way that her curse was broken was if the lover was killed, basically. And then the Little Mermaid killed herself and then was resurrected. So that makes me think, that had me theorizing that maybe Mithros was going to try and kill Viorka. Are you alright? How is the wedding? Let's do are you alright? I feel like it's kind of a jab in the balls to say, how's the wedding that your, lifetime lover was a part of. I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. But I'm tired, Yumeko. So for tonight I just want to rest. Good night. Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. A strange heaviness hangs in my chest. Why do I feel like this is the last time I'll see him? Alright, well, just in case, I do want to go see what the other path is. I'm trying to get the best ending with this one. So, just give me that one. How's the wedding? I quickly clamped my hand over my mouth after I asked the question. Rod just saw the person he loves getting married today. I already know how he feels. I apologize. I should not have asked that. Rod looks at me, surprised. Excuse me. Then to my shock, he starts chuckling. Why are you laughing? You look like a good criminal caught in the act of a crime. I apologize for trying to be sensitive, Your Highness. Without realizing it, I smiled back at him. It looks like Rod has finally learned to converse with me normally. I hope this will not be the last time I see him smile like this. Oh, so apparently that was the right one? Huh. I feel like that's a bit odd for being the right answer. Because the other one was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of concerned about him. And this one's like, oh, he must be doing well. Like, okay, I'll trust it. Rod looks at me and smiles. Good night, Yumeko. Without waiting for my answer, Rod begins to walk away. A strange heaviness hangs in my chest. Why do I feel like this is the last time I'll see him? I glance down at the book in my hands, then slowly open to the last page of the Little Mermaid fairy tale. I start reading from the section where the mermaid's sisters explain how to get her fins back. Take this knife. Before the sun rises, you must plunge it into the heart of the prince, and you will be a mermaid once again. See? The book falls from my hands and collapses to the floor. I stare at it, dumbfounded. Wait, this means Rod needs to kill Viorica. And the item that Somithros mentioned earlier, could it be the knife? I need to find him. I turn and start running into the direction of Rod's room in hopes that I will still be able to catch Somithros there. When I come to the end of the hallway, however, it is not Mithros who stands by Rod's door. Emmeline! Emmeline is slowly walking in the direction of the throne room. Her movements seem oddly mechanical. I rush towards her. Princess Emmeline, where are you going? Must go to Rod. Why is she going to the throne room? Rod is back in his room. My eyes catch on something shining in Emmeline's hand. Oh shit, so it's either Mithros is using Emmeline to give the knife to Rod and be like, oh, you should kill her, blah, 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 to try and use Emmeline as kind of leverage, or he's trying to get Emmeline to kill Rod. My heart nearly stops when I see that it is a knife. Emmeline, what are you... If he kills his beloved with this blade, his scars will break and he won't die. It's as if she's in a trance. Is this Sir Mithros' doing? Is she under one of his spells? Emmeline, snap out of it! Emmeline starts walking again, ignoring me. When I try to approach her again, thinking to steal the knife away, a shadow suddenly comes to stand between us. Varg looms in front of me, smirking. Where did you come from? Let me through, Varg. No can do, princess. Don't you want to save the prince? I look at Emmeline, who has not even turned a glance at us. I glare at Varg, who's still standing in my way, grinning. Step aside, Varg. Aha, feisty. You are a far more interesting princess than your stepsister. I try to sidestep, but Varg follows my motions. I try again and again, but he just thwarts my progress. He holds his hands up in the air, eyebrows raised. Tell me, what would you do if I let you go? Would you try to stop him from killing the girl? Rod would never kill her. He would never do anything to harm the person he loves. He refused to do it, and he has no reason to do it now. Varg is silent for a few moments as he considers. Interesting. He steps aside and bows. Go ahead then. You are letting me go? I would like to see this play end. I would like to see this play end as it may, without any strings attached. Alright, let's get that hustle on, baby. Chapter 10, Silent Farewell. I don't like that. I don't like that name. So I still am wondering, is this going to be like a melancholy kind of ending where we go back to being normal, we never end up with Rod and he ends up with Viorica? Like that kind of thing, or what? I'm curious. When I push open the door, I find Rod kneeling down. Emmeline lies on the floor in front of him, unconscious. Emmeline! She's fine. She's just asleep. Something glints in Rod's hand. Even from this distance, I know that it is the same knife Emmeline was holding earlier. Out of the corner of my eye, I see someone slouched against one of the pillars. Viorica? I rush to her side, then sigh in relief when I see the gentle rise and fall of her chest. She's still alive. How did she get here? It was Sir Mithros' plan. I remember walking back to my room after talking with you. I blacked out, and when I came to, I was already in here with Viorica. I've already checked on her. She seems to be under some kind of sleeping spell. Em came in just a few moments ago, passed me the knife, and then simply collapsed after begging me to kill Viorica. I think Em is under a spell as well. Rod glances down at the knife in his hand, expression glassy. Em almost convinced me. She pleaded that I not leave any of them behind. It's not as if I want to die and leave my family, but... He stares at the knife for a few moments, then curses as he slams his fist into the ground. I can't kill her. Why would Sir Mithros want me to do this? Guilt floods my chest, making it difficult to breathe. I was the one who asked Sir Mithros to help Rod. He said he knew how to break his curse, but I did not realize that in order to break his curse he needed to kill the person he loved. I relied entirely on the story Emmeline told me, and that was my biggest mistake. I should have read the full fairy tale. I could never kill her. Such a shame. Sir Mithros emerges from the shadows, looking at us with disappointment. To break his curse, Prince Rod must kill his beloved with the knife his sister has brought him, just like in the fairy tale. Mithros turns to Rod. And here I thought that your sister might be able to change your mind. You were, after all, supposed to do this of your own accord. I was wrong. I shouldn't have underestimated your stubbornness. Casting a spell on you would have solved the problem entirely. Why are you doing this? Whoa. Well. Sir Mithros shifts his gaze to me. Rod follows his gaze to me and raises his eyebrows. There's no use to lying to him now. I asked Sir Mithros to help me break your curse. You what? I didn't know that you were meant to kill Viorica. Rod shakes his head, his face marred with disappointment. Anyone who tries to help me will inevitably make things harder for me, Yumeko. I wanted to help you, Rod. I've already made up my mind. If you really want to help me, then please respect my decision. Please. Shame. And here I thought I would be witnessing a dramatic finale tonight. Sir Mithros starts to walk away. I'm about to chase after him, but then I realize that there's nothing else he can do. Rod has made his decision. I feel my heart plummet as I slowly nod at him. So, there really is no other way. I could never break my curse like this. Viorica was my first love, and my good friend. And besides that, my love for her faded a long time ago. She's been replaced. You've been my beloved for quite some time already, Yumeko. Oh my god! But it doesn't matter, does it? I will die soon. Rod. I feel a heavy weight on my chest, as if some force is crushing my heart. I'm sorry. I promised myself that I would save your life, but I I failed. I blink back the tears that are brimming in my eyes. Rod stands, then moves over to stand before me. He places a hand on my cheek. You've done nothing wrong, Yumeko, so please don't blame yourself. What did I expect to happen? Even if Rod had killed Viorica today, he would have carried that burden for the rest of his life. And all because I asked a witch to make him do something he did not want to do in the first place. Rod reaches for Sebi and places him in my hands. Once the clock strikes 12, I'm going to disappear. It's really a shame that I'll be disappearing on your birthday. It would have been nice to celebrate this one with you. Promise that you'll take care of my family for me. There must be another way. You cannot go just yet. I'm sorry, Yumeko. I cannot even bring myself to consider what is happening. Panic engulfs my senses as I stare at Rod, who's becoming translucent. Rod, you're... If only I could be with you and everyone else for just a little bit longer. Despite the fact that his words waver, when Rod looks at me, his smile is bright and warm. My vision blurs as tears gather in my eyes. I like you, Yumeko. If we'd had more time together, I think I would have grown to truly love you. In the next instant, his body has dissolved into soft orbs of light. The light gathers in the air, then begins to fade. I'm so sorry. What? What? Excuse me? Bad end? I got the bad end? What? What? No! No, you gotta be fucking with me, bro. You gotta be fucking with me. I got the bad end? How? How? What? I didn't know there was a bad end. I thought I was doing everything right. Oh god. Okay. Let me find the good end. All right, we are back. So, I went through everything again. I got all of the best options. So we're gonna just skip to chapter. All right, so now here we go. The mermaid's voice. This is the good ending. I stop in my tracks when I see Sir Mithros standing just in front of the main door to the throne room. He looks at me expectantly as I approach. Sir Mithros. Good evening, Your Highness. Such a lovely night tonight, isn't it? Only half an hour left before you will turn 18. Do not forget our deal, Princess. Come midnight, I will be requesting your aid in exchange for helping the prince break his curse. I clench my hands into tight fists. Helping the prince break his curse? Rod killing someone is not what I wanted. Sir Mithros puts a finger to his lips. You wouldn't want to attract the attention of the knights, would you? There would be quite a lot of explaining to do then. I glare at him, then take a deep breath and lower my voice. You did not tell me that breaking Rod's curse meant killing someone. Oh? But I'm only honouring my end of the deal. Perhaps you should have done your research before agreeing. The grin on his lips never wavers, but I can see the amusement in his eyes. I relied entirely on the story Emmeline told me, and that was my biggest mistake. I should have read the full fairy tale. But now it seems you finally know the full story of the prince's fairy tale, To break his curse, Prince Rod must kill his beloved with the knife his sister has brought him, just like in the fairy tale. Sir Mithros continues to smile at me. I realize that he's speaking slowly, like one might speak to a child. So condescending. No. Wait. I start to realize that Sir Mithros is purposefully drawing out his conversation to stall me. I need to go. Mithros has not stopped me when I slide past him to open the doors to the throne room. The first thing I see when I enter the room is Rod. He's standing in the middle of the area with Emmeline in his arms. Is she alright? Rod gently places Emmeline on the throne. He leans down to look more closely at her sleeping face, then reaches down to take the object in her hand before he faces me. I can see the metallic glimmer in his hand, and know that he is holding the knife Emmeline brought with her. Where did she even get this knife? He pauses to stare at it, then turns suddenly, eyes widening at some sight in another part of the room. I follow his gaze to the corner of the room where Viorica floats in midair. Her eyes are closed and her hands clasped, as if she's just sleeping. Viorica? But how? Such a pleasant surprise, isn't it? Sir Mithros walks into the room with his hands clasped behind his back. You! Good evening, Your Highness. Is this your doing? Sir Mithros just smiles at him pleasantly. Rod only glares back at him. Guards! Sir Mithros clicks his tongue and chuckles. My apologies, Your Highness, but no one will be able to hear you no matter how loud you shout. Not even your witch friend will hear anything through my magic. He knows Dolores here. I glance around the room and notice that Sir Mithros has created his silent green barrier. This is the same magic he used yesterday. Now, let us get back to the matter at hand. You're running out of time, Prince Rod. It would be a shame to see you perish here after the princes went through the trouble of asking me to save your life. Yumeko, what is he talking about? The princess didn't want you to die, so she asked me to help break your curse. Sir Mithros spreads his arms, gesturing toward both Emmeline and Viorica. And so I've been kind enough to set the stage and gather its actors for what I hope to be a wonderful finale. I can't help but wonder how this fairy tale will end. Why would you do this, Yumeko? I did not know that it would mean killing Viorica, I swear. That is why I came here, to stop you. I told you so many times that there was nothing you could do to help me, and yet you still refused to listen to me. Because I refuse to let you die. Can you not see that you're important to me, Rod? Oh my, what a scandal. Yumeko. I turned to Sir Mithros and stared daggers at him. I asked you to help Rod. Why did you have to involve Melaine in this? It was a necessary requirement that the prince be given... that the princes be the one to give him your knife. The knife, Your Highness. Fuck, I butchered that, man. It was, after all, the mermaid's sister that brought her the knife to kill her beloved. So that's how she knew about all of this. She came here crying and begging me to break my curse because she didn't want me to die. I almost wanted to do it. But I could never kill someone. That is why I will always refuse to break my curse. Even if I really want to live. Perhaps I miscalculated. Ah, well, this can be remedied. Sir Mithros waves his hand. His fingers begin to glow subtly with magic. What are you? Rod! A faint green glow surrounds Rod as he doubles over. What are you doing to him? What I should have done to begin with. The witch who cursed him said that he must do this of his own accord, but seeing as he refuses, I'm going to have to bend the rules slightly. Rod stands abruptly and begins walking toward Viorica. The knife in his hand glistens beneath the patches of scattered moonlight in the room. Princess! He's going to kill Viorica! Stop this, Sir Mithros! Where is Dolores when we need her? I run toward Rod and wrap my arms around his waist in an attempt to stop him, but whether through magic or his own strength, he continues onward. I end up being dragged behind him. Rod, snap out of it! Rod! I must kill her. His gaze is so glassy and his words so mechanical that he sounds nothing like himself. No! Mythos, stop this! I'm ending our deal! My apologies, Your Highness, but not even I can dispel my magic once it's been cast. It will only fade of its own volition, once what needs to be done has transpired. That, or perhaps, in the most unlikely circumstances, the prince will simply shake the spell himself. Though Mithros' words are apologetic, his expression is anything but. In fact, he looks amused by it all. Not so fast. Watching! A crimson ball of light rushes towards Mithros. He waves his hand through the air and is barely able to conjure a shield to protect himself from Delora's magic. Delora! It wasn't easy to find you all, especially with the... Oh, what was that? I thought she was going to say to find something. I don't know. It wasn't exactly easy to find you all, especially with the silencing spell. Such a nuisance. That isn't important. Help me stop Rod. Wachang! Frost slowly appears beneath Rod's feet. It spreads up his legs, freezing him in place. I sigh with relief as I collapse onto the floor. My arms are sore with the effort of trying to hold Rod back. Mithros clicks his tongue as he faces Delora. I don't believe you were invited to this play, traitor. Light gathers around Mithros' hand. Moments later, he releases the energy towards her. Delora in turn conjures a barrier, successfully protecting herself from Mithros' magic. I always did fancy myself a party crasher. Still, to think that you were alive this whole time. Myth. Myth? His real name. He's one of the Tenenbaum and Bearer's servants. This person was my mother's servant. Allow me to correct you. I am her only faithful servant. I'm nothing like that ungrateful bastard who betrayed her to the fairies. Who is he talking about? Well, whatever it is you're planning, forget about it. There's no way we're letting you get away with it. Oh? Well, do try your best. But first, a reminder. I am the superior witch here. Energy crackles in the air as sparks begin to form around his hand. This spell is taking longer than the other spells. I notice Delora's worry moments before she's able to cast a shield on herself. This is not good. Mithros releases the bolts of lightning in Delora's direction. The impact causes both the shield and the ground to shudder. Delora! The smoke clears, and miraculously, Delora stands unharmed. No sooner has a sigh escaped my lips than another frightening sound echoes across the room. There's a loud crack, and I realize that it's coming from Delora's shield. Everything after that happens is a blur. Delora's still trying to hold the shield up when Mithros casts another spell at it. It shatters, and the magic seeps through and hits it directly. Delora! Really now? Have you forgotten the most important lesson in defense magic? Always conjure another shield after being hit by a powerful spell. Oh. Or O. Or O, I do apologize. Oh. Or O. I do apologize. Perhaps I did not give you enough time to cast another shield. How thoughtless of me. Delora lay on the floor, unmoving. Delora! I am about to rush to her side with when Mithros moves his hand in front of me with a malicious grin on his face. It will do you no good to be in denial, princess. How could you? How could you hurt another witch? It is not a crime to destroy a traitor. He looks back at Delora with clear disdain. Then he sets his eyes back on me and raises his eyebrows. It is foolish of you to try to stop this. You wanted this, and I will not allow you to renege our deal. Renege, I don't know how to say that. The prince will break his curse, and you will help me. Help you? Yes. I went to great pains to make sure Alcastor kept you safe, just so you could repay me. You said you made a deal with Alcastor to borrow the knight's assistance. And what would I need the knight's assistance for, dear princess? I never needed the knights. I just needed Alcastor to keep you safe. I would have gotten rid of him myself if I wasn't sure the king would eventually find me. So this whole time you were only trying to keep me safe. To use me. Use is such a simple, ugly word. Remember, I just want to help you. Oh, I just want you to help me. Princess! I turn around and realize that Delora's spell on Rod has faded, and that he's now only a few feet away from Viorica. Rod! I force myself to run toward him as fast as I can manage. I will not let you kill anyone. I do not know what I must do to stop him, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I put myself between Rod and Viorica, just as he's about to plunge the knife into her. Princess! Ugh. My body is racked with pain the moment the blade sinks into my shoulder. Ugh. I collapse to the floor and hold on to my injured shoulder. I can feel my blood seeping between my fingers. You fool! You could have easily been killed! I do not care. I love Rod and would never let him do something that he would regret for the rest of his life. I cringe. Tears cloud my vision as the pain worsens. Yumeko! I feel Rod's arms around me as he cradles me to his chest. I look up at him to see that his eyes are fixed on my bleeding shoulder. Rod looks at me with anguish. He grabs a handkerchief from his pocket and presses it to my shoulder. I can't believe I did this. I stare in shock as his lips move. It is not Sebi speaking, but him. Your voice. You broke your curse. But how? A bright light envelops us, and for a few moments I have to close my eyes against its brightness. I reach out to grab at my necklace, but it's gone. I open my eyes in panic, but the necklace is definitely not there. Yumeko, the glass slippers. I glance down to see a pair of smooth glass slippers on my feet.
Hey, and we broke our curse.
You broke your curse by breaking mine. I hear the sound of shattering glass and turn to see Mithros staring at the broken vial. What is that? Frost has begun to form a suit at his feet and is now spreading up his legs. What is happening? Always have a backup, as they say. Seems like you're the one who forgot the basics of combat. Never turn your back on an opponent unless you're sure that they're dead. Your bloated ego does wonders in turning the tide of battle. Delora is now back on her feet and walking toward Mithros. She dusts off her dress as she moves. Delora is unharmed. But how? Did you really think I'd forget to conjure another shield? The frost has now made its way up to Mithros' neck. Inconceivable! A lowly witch like you could never cast as powerful a spell. Delora gestures at the glass shards on the floor. That's where Parfait's new special potion comes in handy. It makes my magic more powerful. The second most basic lesson is to never underestimate your opponent. Looks like you were the terrible pupil. Mithros opens his mouth to speak, or perhaps to scream, but by the time he opens his mouth, the frost has completely devoured him, leaving nothing but an icy sculpture. Delora, Yumeko is... Has the bleeding stopped? I think so. I cannot make out what they say after that. My world starts spinning and everything starts to blur, so I close my eyes. I feel Delora's hand on my forehead. The warmth relaxes me somewhat. We got you, Princess. Hang in there, Yumeko. My body becomes heavier by the second as I lean my head against Rod's chest, and then I feel myself falling into a never-ending darkness. When I open my eyes, the first thing I see are the soft rays of sunlight seeping through the window. I am in my own room. I attempt to sit up and cringe when I feel sharp pain in my shoulder. I reach out to touch it, only to realize that it has been neatly bandaged. Despite my injury, my body feels oddly light, stronger than it even was before. I remember, I placed myself in front of Viorica to stop Rod from hurting her. But where did this energy come from? The door opens and Emmeline walks in with a tray of food in her hands. She stops when she realizes that I'm staring at her, and nearly drops the tray in her rush to stand beside me. Yumeko, you're finally awake. I was so worried about you. I'm so sorry. This was all my fault. What are you talking about? It was mine, not yours. I remember bringing the knife to Rod, but I can't remember much of what happened before or after that. Just when I woke up in the throne room, I saw that you were bleeding in Rod's arms. I thought that you were going to... The rest of Emmeline's words break to pieces as she begins to cry. I'm so sorry for forgetting about you. I made you work too hard while you were my personal maid, and... I shake my head with a sigh. It was not your fault I was cursed, Emmeline. But... I look at her tear-stained face. She's not at fault because she is crying. She really is a good person. I spread my arms. Yumeko? I turn away, suddenly embarrassed. You looked like you needed a hug. Emmeline stares at me for a few moments. I'm about to reconsider when I suddenly feel her arms around me. I'm so happy. I hug her back and stroke her hair. I cannot help but smile at the warmth that spreads in my chest. Thank you. Emmeline pulls back, her face full of concern. What will happen to you and Rod now? I saw how close the two of you got, and I saw how Rod looked at you last night. Wait, last night? So today is... my birthday, and the day I become the bearer. Is that the reason I feel so strangely energized? Oh! Emmeline walks up to one of my doll shelves and picks up the doll she had placed there months ago. Happy birthday! I meant to give this to you earlier as a surprise before you were... cursed. Anyway, I know it's not as pretty as the other dolls from your collection, but I hope that you like it. It is beautiful. Thank you. I take the doll in my arms as a knock sounds on the door. Come in. Hey. The door opens and Rod steps inside. His eyes widen when he sees Emmeline. Em? Oh, I was just about to... leave. Emmeline slides off my bed and begins to head for the door. But before she closes it, she turns to us once again. I know how complicated this will be for the both of you, but I want you to know that I will support you. So my lips are sealed. Emmeline winks before finally closing the door behind her. There's an awkward silence in the room before Rod approaches me and sits on the edge of the bed. How are you feeling? It still hurts, but I'll be fine. What's wrong? I'm just not used to hearing your voice from your own lips. Oh. But I see that you still have Steady with you. I've grown too fond of him to completely set him aside. He's helped me through a lot. Bummer I can't read his thoughts anymore. There's never any need for you to do that in the first place. Is that so? Rod shakes his head and sighs silently. So what happened last night? How was it that you were able to break your curse? You did not kill Viorica. In the original fairy tale, the little mermaid could retain her humanity only if the prince loved her back. Though it never happens in the fairy tale, it is still an element of her curse. But still, because the prince never fell in love with her, the only way for the mermaid to live was to kill him. I fell in love with you unknowingly. When you told me you loved me as well last night, that broke my curse. I feel my cheeks turn warm. Rod coughs, his own cheeks flushed. So, there you have it. The Little Mermaid never had a fairy tale ending, but I did. I never had to kill Viorica. But because my curse started with Viorica, I assumed it had to end with her too. It turns out that the person I love just needed to love me back. I was mistaken. It never needed to be Viorica. I see. We stare at each other for a few moments, the awkward silence returning. I change the subject as quickly as I can. What became of Sir Mithros? Delora brought him back to Lady Parfait. She's the only one who will properly punish him. Oh, she's the one who will probably punish him. And what of Viorica? Delora returned her to her home yesterday. She does not remember anything that happened. Everything's back to how it was then? You're back to being my stepbrother. I cannot help but feel crestfallen at this truth. Blood binds, but so do sibling bonds. Rod and I can never have what either of us want. I don't want to forget these feelings I have for you, Yumeko. If I had ever made that deal with the witch, then maybe we might have actually been able to be together. if I had never made that deal with the witch.
But had you not been cursed, our paths never would have crossed. I reach for Rod's hand. He laces his fingers through mine with a small smile. I love you, Rod.
I love you too.
But... Rod leans forward and kisses my cheek.
I know. 1 month later, alrighty, let's see.
Ever since I broke my curse and became the new Tenenbaum bearer, I've been training under Parfait and Delora so that I can learn to control my newfound powers. I never wanted this responsibility, but it is a burden I was born into. It is necessary I help maintain the balance between light and dark that has been missing for so long. Now that I am the new Tenenbaum bearer, Parfait wants the two of us to work together in maintaining that peace. I do not wish to cause any pain or suffering to the people, especially to the people whom I cherish. Sometimes I still wonder what Sir Mithros wanted me to do for him, but that is not important anymore. I still have much to learn, but right now, as the new bearer, my priority is still to get rid of the fairy tale curse once and for all. For the time being, everyone at the Marchant waits patiently for the day that I will learn to lift their curses. Since everything transpired, my relationship with Ophelia and Emmeline has improved.
Improved.
Emmeline is fond of calling me the best sister, even though I am the only one she has. My relationship with the king, however, has yet to be mended. I'm doing my best to open up to him and give him a chance, but the efforts are slow going. I do not ask why he acted the way he did in the past, but I know that in order to move forward, I must let go of the past. It is finally time. I've been waiting for this all day. I head back into my room to change my dress into something less conspicuous. Afterwards, I head out into town and into the forest for my designated meeting. It is relief that the king allows me to leave the palace on my own. I would not have been able to come here with guards. I guess me being the Tenenbaum bearer puts him at ease. If the title reassures him and allows me to come out here on my own to meet Rod, then I'm not complaining. Rod still uses the secret passage he's always used to sneak out of the palace. Emmeline knows about our secret meetings and helps cover for our disappearances if necessary. It makes me happy that Emmeline approves of our relationship, that we do not have to keep it secret from absolutely everyone. At first, Rod and I both attempted to keep our distance without making it seem too obvious to everyone around us. Though Ophelia seems to suspect something is going on between the two of us, she's not asked questions. Emmeline was not happy with our decision. She said she felt terrible that we would be forced to let go of something so precious on account of our titles. She was right. More than that, it was difficult for the two of us to deny our feelings for each other. In the end, we came up with a solution, even if it is temporary. We decided to secretly meet up in the forest every once in a while so that we could be together without any pretenses, even just for a little while. When I catch sight of Rod, I run toward him and throw my arms around his neck. I feel Rod snuggle his face into the crook of my neck. May I have this dance? Oop. Is there a way to... I'll probably be able to... Okay. I take Rod's hand and begin dancing to a silent song. The first time I danced with him, it was to prove a point. It was when neither of us even liked each other. I remember this as I stare at him. What? Is there something on my face? I was just remembering how much you hated me back then, and now here we are. Fate sure loves to toy with us. I smile at Rod. Just for a little longer. I want to be by his side. I do not know how long we can keep this up, but every day I wish for the same thing. I wish that I can live my life openly loving Rod. I wonder, would that dream ever be possible? All right. Clap it up, boys. Wow. That was one hell of a journey, and we have finally made it to our end here. So yeah, definitely interesting, us and Rod getting together. I mean, like, we're step siblings. It's kind of weird. It's very weird. 'Cause
damn, I don't know, man. I don't know how to even feel about this. Like, you're not related by blood, but at the same time, you are step siblings. I mean, this is like some fucking domestic girlfriend type shit where it's like, oh yeah, I fucked this girl and I'm in love with my teacher, and then both of them become my siblings and I'm having relations with them. So while it is like a socially weird thing, right? It's one of those things where it's like, technically, but also technically, it's really on the fence here. Ah, man. I mean, I guess personally for me, it feels a little bit more acceptable because they've never seen each other as siblings, really. You know? Like, beforehand, they both, like, equally hated each other and didn't really see each other as, you know, siblings. And, you know, once she had her curse on her and she technically wasn't his sibling anymore, then they eventually fall in love and then they're back to it. But hey, I guess we can find out in Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, which is the sequel to this game. And yeah, I guess we're going to see how some of the relationships end up playing out. But for sure, I will definitely consider going through some of these other paths. I will look through some of the other routes. I'll skim through them a little bit, see if they're worth going down at all. And yeah, that's going to be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed not only this video, but this series. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below if you want to see me play Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. If you enjoyed this series or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you will be notified when a new one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.